for the introduction. You don't see in the recording, but we have a nice introduction from Luis. And basically the context here is to present FAME to the other project of the cluster of EUDATA. We want to present FAME and what we do in the context of this alliance. So let me first share my screen so you can see, you know, a little bit of this introduction. Just give me a second because I have many screens open so far. So let me go also in presentation mode. This is it. So again, this is Ernesto Troiano, and I am the project coordinator on behalf of my organization, which is GFT. We will present today, and we want to go technical, by the way. So this is an overview introduction. So I will speak briefly about the overall concept of the project. Then we will have this foundation. We want to present a live demo. Hopefully, you know, the demo have some risk, but we have an online application, and we will be able to present it. Then we will talk about some more depth about the technology overview, and then we will leave, you know, a space for others to interact with the project. So once again, thank you all. The background of motivation, I believe, are very common to all the projects of our cluster. We start from the strategy of Europe. We share basically the values, the motivation, the strategy, of course, of the EUDATA, you know, politics and policy to create a European space for exploiting the data economy with solutions that are founded with the values. And at the core of FAME, there are some limitations we found in data asset provision according to this value, lack of flexibility. Also, we track some, you know, some technologies like algorithm and AI. We should be, in our view, efficient from a point of view of energy consumption. And but we target mainly a specific sector, which is a broad vision and version of the finance sector, the finance insurance, where we believe that this data ecosystem is needed. And so we target this financial sector, but is open to everyone. So these are the motivation to create a platform, an ecosystem to deliver a marketplace. And the marketplace is where you put your, you know, values and asset that somebody else can exploit. But we found that more and more we develop the FAME project. We were very close to the data space concept as the Europe conceive it, as many organizations like the Data Space Support Center and IDSA are conceiving it. Actually, IDSA, the International Data Space Association, is a member of our project. So, basically, we provide around this concept of a marketplace and data space, the technology, the framework, the technological components, and the business and legal pillars that will be able to, you know, to found the services around the marketplace that we want to provide. Operators will found a secure and interoperable regulatory marketplace, decentralized, programmable, equipped with trading and pricing components, and also integrated with technology components. So nowadays we see at FAME more as a data space than in a marketplace, but of course at the center of the project is a marketplace that serves a community of providers data providers, data consumers, and other stakeholders, basically. We not only provide a marketplace, we provide a learning center along with the federation management system with the technology that we believe that can serve a community. So FAME as a ecosystem supports the interaction between different roles that spans from organization and users, academy, and also we hope other European projects that share the same concept. The functionality of FAME, I will not mention it because somebody else will go into depth about that, but we provide from the authorization and authentication mechanisms to the federation, to monetization, to asset pricing and trading, components for ML and AI, and more things. So we will see more in the presentation. We innovate something, at least starting from the basic and you know, all very well-known data marketplace. We enhance the concept of data assets, for instance. We do not only provide a showcase for data sources, data sets, but also for technology component, either you know, either as an asset that you can deploy in your own application, or also runtime services. So we expand in some way the data asset concept. We provide tools like the price advisory tools. As I said, we are focused on a specific market, but we found that in the development of the project, many other stakeholders or end users can benefit from the benefit from the FAME marketplace and ecosystem. We have this governance model that allows this community to be, you know, linked and share the same values in a federation. Therefore, the business model is a little bit different. We want to provide these applications and these services to business organizations, basically, not only in the financial sector, but others that can contribute with their asset and with their values to create a data economy based on technology, data sets, provided with trustworthiness, with the security, with features that are needed for the industry to create some value. So we have several unique selling points with respect to others, to other solutions. Mainly, we add to the DSSC model these monetization technologies and component that allows and empower the trading. But more specifically, technically, we have enhanced the, you know, the metadata of some data in order to include a broader class of data asset. We extend this data asset concept, and we provide some, you know, functionalities for searching, specifically with ontology search in the financial sector, but not only. Where are we? We will speak later. We are just launched the online marketplace, so it's open right now. We will have a demonstration right away. We will target in the next few months to you know, to engage more end users, stakeholders around this marketplace to create this community. We will launch initiatives, workshops in order to present it, but the project will not end at the official ending date of the European, but it will last to stay, hopefully, to serve this community and ecosystem we are creating. Basically, this is it. I would only thank and remember that the consortium is 33 partners from industry, from financial institutions, from university and academy. We have SMEs, of course, we have fintech hubs, and so on and so forth. I will not mention the use case for now because I want to leave space to the others because they will present the technical background. I just want to position FAME in our cluster. So you see that somebody of the EUDATA space is managing this picture, which gives to all the project in the EUDATA cluster their positioning. We have a little bit of data ingestion, but we are mainly in the block of data publication. So we provide, and we can provide the service to other projects in order that they can be, part of the ecosystem and part of the project. So in some way, we also serve this community. I have finished, so I will, with any further ado, leave the floor to my colleague Mosca. I see questions. I don't know if we can check a question now, or maybe later on when we will present also some technical details. But for now, I think we can get one question. Please.
Okay. Thank you for the presentation. I'm Luigi Mosca, and I'm working for the PISTIS project, and I'm based at the Imperial College. I was just wondering, and we can cover this question later, or we can also have another conversation. If you can expand, okay, you can point me the right person to talk about your business model, because we are basically trying to design the business model. So just
Luigi, yeah, sorry for interrupting you. Okay, this is the technical section, but definitely we have a business section, and my colleague Valentina is also leading. Well, is the place where we discuss the business, framework, comprising business model. We want to really create a common view about the different vision of the businesses, the business model, the use cases. So that is the place where we really want to discuss it, and I invite you to follow the session. Maybe you will receive an invitation later on. All right, Luigi? And thank you for your question, of course. I leave the floor to my colleague Krzysztof. Please, Krzysztof, you have the floor.
All right. Hello. I understand that you see my screen. My name is Krzysztof Saja. Krzysztof, you can call me, of course. I'm representing here Fujitsu, one of the partners of FAME. And I would like to discuss about, our key challenges, business challenges, and also technological enablers that we use in FAME to solve those challenges, to address those challenges. But first, let's discuss a bit possible governance setup for data spaces, how different stakeholders can be interconnected and can be related with each other. Typical way of building such applications is, centralized approach. When all the decisions and data provider data are in full control of a single central entity, this blue box, as you can see. And most of the applications are built like this, right? We now in a phase of those Web 2 centralized approach where most of the applications has this pattern. However, of course, we could have like decentralized pattern where there are multiple marketplaces, multiple decentralized data spaces, and all decisions could be made locally and with different rules implemented by different data providers. There's a third pattern widely used in Web3 solutions like blockchain-based applications, distributed solution where every instance is independent and interconnected with each other based on some consensus mechanism, automated consensus mechanism. But this is a less efficient and also problematic. And we here in FAME are building a federated structure where decisions are made locally, but with support and guidance from governance body. But the data is controlled and stays in the data provider's hands. So the federated is what we are building here, federation pattern. But of course, the question is why federation, right? So in order to answer that question, we should understand the challenges for data providers in centralized data marketplaces. So let's let's understand that there are trust issues always that data provider the data provider have. There's a question. If I give full technological control over my data to some centralized entity, will my data not be exploited without my consent, right? Why, for example, pay to centralized data marketplace if I can't verify and fully trust what they will do with my valuable data? So this is usually the issue with the centralized approach. It leads to the security issue and question like, should I outsource my data securities? Can I afford such a risk? For example, can I truly rely on centralized entities to protect sensitive data, like, for example, health data or financial data, financial information, without compromising security? All in all, this, it comes down to the degree of business control the data provider wants to keep. And in centralized data marketplaces, data provider need to abandon a lot of such control. And this is an issue for a lot of stakeholders. Therefore, we are building this federated data marketplace, where decisions are made, quite a lot of decisions can be made locally, but with our support and guidance, and the data still are in full control of the data providers. But of course, every solution have its drawbacks also, and there are some challenges that we also faced. So what are the challenges for federated data marketplace? Now let me just briefly point to some of those. First of all, we need to implement shared decentralized control among consortium members. We need to ensure that every action is transparently tracked and verifiable. And of course, we need to build a trust and accountability to overcome those centralization risks that we discussed before. Also, of course, we need to align with regional values and legal frameworks and maintain rigorous standards for data privacy and security. We also need to design our application for adaptability in face of this rapid regulatory and technological changes, and ensure that the system can integrate with external tools and emerging innovations. And of course, there are some scalability and interoperability challenges. So it will be good to support an integration across multiple data ecosystems and external tools and scale our application without any performance loss, right? And of course, we should also focus on automation and usability and streamline some processes such as asset management, offer creation, and data purchasing. So we've got some key decentralization solutions for our federated data marketplace that we just use in order to address those all challenges. What are those? I'll just briefly mention those, and then later on, after the quick demo, I will explain it in more details. So first of all, we are under the hood using a blockchain-based provenance and tracing functionalities. Then we also used blockchain-based smart contracts, which for us are some rules, governance rules as a code. Then we also go with multiple standardization pattern, but also we are using tokenization as a standardization pattern. And the fourth element is for identity management, for authorization and authentication, is to use self-sovereign identity model. So I will explain all of those after the demo. And now it's a time, before diving deeper, it's time for quick demo. You will see how basic stuff is working. Mauro, please take a stage.
Yes, thank you very much, Krzysztof. So let me share my screen and make a very, very quick introduction before the actual demo. I'm Mauro Isaja from Engineering Informatica from Italy. I've been deeply involved in the development of the platform, although I'm only responsible for a couple of modules, but due to my role, I am now trying to present you the full picture. the core of the project is the marketplace platform that you can see here. But the FAME business ecosystem, as Krzysztof explained, is a federation, and the platform is not a traditional centralized service. And there are many implications of this fact. And one of them is that the onboarding process for users is quite different from the usual user registration process. So we will start our journey not from the marketplace platform itself, but from the onboarding process. So let me start saying that the members of the federation are organizations. They're not people, because the federation, the FAME Federation, is essentially a B2B ecosystem. And so we call the organization members, and we call the people users. And we will discuss about users later. Now we focus on organization, on members. To become a member, an organization must go through a formal onboarding process, and the website that you see on screen now is the enabler of this. The organization can submit their membership application online. Then this application is evaluated offline, and in the end, if they are approved, they become a member. Now, the online process is quite simple. It's just a matter of filling in some information in a form. A very important thing that I would like to expand a little bit is this part, the onboarding authority status. And the reason why I'm discussing this now, it is because it is very much about the decentralization that we discussed before. In a real-world federation, so not in the proof of concept like this, the members will be responsible for onboarding users, which means that they are in charge of user management for a specific pool of users, which are those that are affiliated with them, like employees, customers, or whatever. But the users are those who will actually do business on the FAME marketplace. So this is a crucial step. The key point that I wanted to clarify is that the FAME marketplace is a self-sovereign identity-enabled system, which means that the user must receive a verifiable credential that grants them access to the marketplace platform, but does not contain any personal information at all, because it is just a digital admission ticket, and we call this an onboarding credential. Now, the onboarding credentials are issued by a member organization, which is called an onboarding authority for this reason. And so, first of all, the member, when he is filling this application form, must decide if they are going to be an autonomous onboarding authority or if they are going to delegate another member to do user management. Now, in this proof of concept, we are using an existing onboarding authority, which is the root onboarding authority of the FAME platform. But this is just for the sake of this demo, because it is not what we will usually do. After we have filled in all the details of the organization, we have also to provide the details of the user, but this is just a contact point. This will be the administrative contact point for this member. And we just demonstrated this. I'm not going through the real process. There is some documentation also to upload to the platform, because this application is going to be evaluated and approved by a committee. So now I'm just sending a placeholder document, and then I send my application form, and I will receive in my email a link for the verification of my email address. Nothing really special. After, now we are simulating this process, because usually this process will take a couple of days to be completed. Now we assume that this process has been completed, that my membership has been approved, and so this is what I see as the administrator of this member. There are, for example, some pending requests here. Now I am a full member, so I have the right to vote. I can approve of or reject. It is a majority vote, so if the majority of the existing federation members approve a candidacy, then it means that it is approved. Otherwise, it is rejected. The last thing that I want to show you here is that now I am delegating the onboarding authority role to the root onboarding authority of the FAME platform. So I just have to tell the platform who are the people, that the users that must be invited to join the platform. And I do this in a very simple way, because the onboarding authority just needs to know what is the sorry, because this is not correct, I have to change it. What is the contact point of this person? And once I send this request, in some time I will receive an invitation email, which I can show to you because I received that right now. This is a link that I must follow to reach the onboarding page, and this is a one-time password code that I have to input into the form. So if I follow this link, I reach this page, which is the credential claim page for the onboarding authority. Now it is assumed that I have on my personal device an identity wallet, which is, in our case, it is Spherion. Maybe I can show you on my webcam how it looks like. This is a very simple application that will allow me to scan a QR code from this page. And when I do that, I will receive the verifiable credential on my wallet. That's it. Now, this is the digital ticket that I mentioned before. And by presenting this verifiable credential, I will be able to do the login. And let's see. So let's go back to the marketplace platform. Now I'm not logged in the platform. I'm just on the home page. The home page is quite long because there are a lot of in details on this. There is a description of what the community is about, but at the end of the day, what a guest user can see is not much more than this. So I will proceed with the login procedure. Again, it is a QR code. I have to scan the QR code with my wallet application. And this means that the platform knows that I am a user that was onboarded by a trusted onboarding authority. And that also means that I am trusted. Okay. Funnily enough, it is not working, but let's hope that I can unlock it. Okay. Right. Okay, fine. So the platform doesn't know my identity. The platform just knows that I have been onboarded by a trusted onboarding authority. And so the platform knows an anonymous user ID and the affiliation ID, so the ID of the member. Now, what can I do I would start from browsing the asset catalog. The asset catalog is where all the assets coming from the federation members end up. So it's an aggregator. These are just metadata entry. They are not actual data, not actual digital content. They are just a description of an asset. You might notice that some of them have a green mark, which means that they have a certified provenance. If I go into one of them, these are the details. This is a fake entry. As you can see, it is not a real asset. But the point that I want you to notice is that there is a certified provenance, which means that there is a blockchain record on the FAME blockchain that matches this entry. And this blockchain record contains a digital signature of the metadata of this asset. And the metadata is this, what you can see. Additionally, you can also see that there is a list. In this case, the list contains only one item of offerings. Offerings are ways through which other users of the platform can consume the digital contents or the digital services, whatever an asset is, for a given amount of money, so for a payment. In this case, the business model is based on a subscription. So it is 1 month subscription for 100 FDAs, which is the payment token that I will discuss in a minute. So if I want to buy this offering, I go to the offering detail page, and I will be able to look at the terms and conditions. And in the end, I would decide to buy this offering. And to buy this offering, I will need to do a blockchain transaction to transfer this amount of money to the blockchain account of the seller, which I can do in this case because I have a wallet plugin installed in my browser. So the transaction is confirmed. Now I have access to this particular content. And how can I demonstrate that I have access to this? Because I have a non-fungible token in my wallet right now that represents my rights to get this specific content directly from the publisher. Directly from the publisher means that the publisher is responsible for delivering this content to anyone who is a legitimate holder of a token like this. So the content is not hosted or served from the marketplace platform. It is served directly from the publisher. So the content will never leave the premises or the trusted infrastructure of the publisher. Now, this is a very straightforward walkthrough from the perspective of a buyer. But if I am a publisher, if I am a member of the federation who is here to trade digital content, I need to do something more than this in order to be enabled to publish my content. So I need, for example, to enroll one or more accounts in the trading system of the platform. I'm not going to show you how this works out because it is probably out of scope. However, consider that you will have step-by-step instructions how to onboard, how to enable trading functionalities, which is not a trivial task, by the way, unfortunately, because you need to have some prerequisites and you need to install some software. So it is something that you need you need some instructions to do it, and you have these instructions here. They are quite detailed, so it is very low level. This is a guide that will help you, will walk through all the steps that are required to enroll yourself as a trader on this platform. Anyway, once you have done all the process, then to publish an asset, you just have to provide the metadata information in the marketplace platform. And I can show you an example of this immediately. So I can copy some existing data here. The types of assets that we support are very different. Of course, you can publish a data set, you can publish a data stream, you can publish models, documents, you can even publish software, you can even provide an entry point for an online service. So you just have to explain to the system what is the category of asset that you are publishing, and then you have to provide a description. Of course, there is a synthetic description, there is a longer description. You can provide a logo if you want. So it's very simple but complete. The most important thing is that you have to provide a URL that will be the service point for the buyers of your content to retrieve your content from your own delivery point. So once you have done this, you simply publish this asset to the platform, and you also are required to create a blockchain entry to accompany this catalog entry. So if you do this, now we have both the asset and the blockchain entry in the system. I can show you the result. Very similar to what we have seen before, but this time we don't have any offerings yet because we didn't publish any. So this is a certified entry with a clear identification of the provenance. And finally, we can define offerings, but I will skip this part because it is a bit more complex than before. But basically, I have to define the terms and conditions. I have to define the price. I have to define the business model, because I can base this offering on a subscription model, which is this. I have to define what is the duration of the subscription, or I can also select a pay-as-you-use or a pay-as-you-go model. For example, in the pay-as-you-go model, I will fix a price for a given amount of data. Now I'm telling the system that for every 10 megabytes of content, there is a unit price of 10 tokens. Now, a short explanation of the tokens before I conclude. The tokens are just a trick because they have a one-to-one relationship with the euro, but we needed a system that would allow us to enable online payments contextually. So the payments that can be done with a blockchain transaction. So we are using a payment token, but that is no different than a payment in euro. The difference is that tokens must be managed. So we have a specific role for the FAME governance body. That is that they also have to manage an exchange so that they can provide payment tokens to the user, because the user will have to buy payment tokens to use payment tokens in the system, and also the sellers, the digital, the providers of digital content will also have the opportunity of redeeming the tokens they have received as a payment, and so to transform digital tokens into real money again. So this is, I think, concludes the practical presentation. And now, if there are any questions, I will answer. Otherwise, we leave the floor again to Krzysztof for a more in-depth walkthrough to the technicalities of the platform.
Thank you, Mauro. I would propose to wait those 5 till 8 minutes until I finish my part, and then you will have full picture to ask your questions.
Sure.
So let me one more time share my screen. Mauro explains quite a lot already from the also technical perspective, but let me recap. What are those technological enablers for our federated data marketplaces? So those are those 4 elements, 4 technology. First of all, we are using blockchain under the hood. Very briefly, the blockchain, of course, it is a specific data structure, some distributed, decentralized P2P network with some consensus mechanism, some transaction validation mechanism, and in our case, virtual decentralized machine to invoke scripts. The scripts that are called smart contracts. The important features for us from the blockchain perspective is that this is for us an infrastructure for smart contracts. It's a general purpose use, so we can use it, and we use it for different features, and it's jointly owned under shared control of all the federated members. It consists of immutable history of transactions and events, and it's anti-fragile, meaning that it's resistant to actions of one centralized entity. The second technological enabler are those smart contracts, which are the script, just small programs, enabling reading, transformation, and recording of information on chain, on blockchain. Usually they are standardized. We are using different standards for different purposes. They are publicly exposed. They have publicly exposed methods. So anyone with proper authorization can invoke those methods. And usually are open source and easy to verify because they are quite small programs that everybody can check what are the rules, governing rules that are used in smart contracts. And those are executed on chain, on blockchain. In FAME context, there are few important smart contracts that we are using. The token contracts, which are responsible for the tokenization of different aspects of the workflow. I will speak a bit about it later. We've got a trading manager contract, which orchestrates the marketplace business logic, and enabling interaction between buyers, sellers, and stuff like this. We've got some kind of swapping contract. We call it burst contract, which facilitates the exchange between payment tokens and those data access tokens. And we've got the governance contract and some provenance and tracing contracts that tracks the provenance of assets and metadata. So then we've got those tokens that Mauro already mentioned as a third technological enablers. So we are using this tokenization paradigm. Tokenization is a process of representing real world or digital assets into blockchain-based records that follows some recognized token standards. So those tokens can represent different things like ownership, rights, or value of some assets. In our cases, also they represent different things. And there are different token standards like ERC20 or ERC721 for an NFT, and we are using those standards. So what are the FAME tokens? We've got those offering tokens that represents that data providers offer that Mauro already mentioned, with some defining terms such as price, expiration, and usage limit. We are implemented it as a non-fungible token, ERC, to ensure that each offer is unique, but those offerings are not transferable. Unlike traditional NFTs, the offering token is not meant to be transferred because it serves as a reference for data offers. And we are using it in different automation mechanism and in other smart contracts. Then we've got those data access token. So it serves as a proof of ownership and access rights to purchase data offer. So this is a key to get the data from data provider, right? And the proof that you bought this access rights. And we are using this ERC1155 NFT standard there. as mentioned, as Mauro mentioned, we've got three flavors of, or three types of those tokens: pay-as-you-go, pay-as-you-use, and subscription-based tokens. And we are also using other standards. It's interesting also because this data access token, which represents the access right, can be even in the future trade on secondary markets if, for example, your access rights are not used. But this is like, you know, future concept that we can elaborate. And we've got this payment token, which is, as Mauro mentioned, internal utility token for payments. With standard used ERC20 fungible token in order to ensure the compatibility with some other DeFi apps and wallet services and stuff like this. We've got some other features like pausability, upgradability, and you know, different security features. And it's important for those automated on-chain quick settlements of payments that are linked to these data access rights. And lastly, we've got those decentralized identity, SSI, sales sovereign identity, this decentralized digital identity model, where individuals fully own and control their personal data. We are following those standards like W3C, verifiable credential data model standards, and OpenID for verifiable credential protocols, meaning that, you know, different wallets and identity wallets can be used in our platform. As you saw, Mauro show you those one wallet, Ethereum wallet that we are using now currently for tests. So concluding, so we in FAME, you know, leverage those decentralization technologies as the enablers for this federation and federated data marketplace, right? So how we address those all elements? First of all, by transparent tracking and auditing of all the processes, decisions, and informations for all the stakeholders, based on those immutable blockchain logs that we've got. We've got those smart contracts, enforced rules, and compliance. The GDPR is addressed by self-sovereign identity, and not by just not storing personal data in FAME systems. We are using private permissioned blockchain that allows us to fully federated governance for the blockchain with no transaction costs and high transaction throughput. And we use EVM standards for wallets, smart contracts, and tokenization patterns. And we implemented those smart contracts driven data access trading automation. To sum up, you know, FAME is quite big platform. We've got multiple microservices that are talking to each other. We were mainly here showed you the federation manager domain and transactional operation domains. But under the hood, as Ernesto also showed you, there are some microservices, for example, for analysis, energy efficiency, and, you know, other relevant metrics and data, which are developed by other consortium members. And on the top of this application, backend application, of course, there is a layer of the dashboard and open REST API or open standards that we exposed for others. So all the functionalities can be, or most of the functionalities can be consumed or by the end user using the dashboards UI, or we've got those well-documented open API, which can be programmatically invoked, used, consumed by other potential members of the federation or other organizations that would like to integrate with our system. So that's it from my side. Thank you. And now I believe that it's a good time for all the questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ernesto, Mauro, and Krzysztof for your joint presentation. I think we have time for a couple of questions. Does anyone has any technical question? I do have a couple myself. I just want to open the floor first. I think no one, so I'll just fire my own. So you mentioned that you have a private permission blockchain, right? So who are the peers there, or how do you select which do the validation of the transactions?
I will answer that. Right now, we have just a proof of concept network, which means that all the peers in the system are operated by the same operator, which is our company, engineering. The network, however, is a Besu network, which means that is a standard Ethereum client. And that means that in principle, the network might be a public network, but in that case, it would be probably not sustainable in terms of transaction cost, or it might be a permissioned network that is open to any member of the system. So the original idea was that membership in the federation would also open up the opportunity, it is not mandatory, but it is an opportunity to run a blockchain node. So a validator node that is part of the permissioned network. Permissioning by itself is already supported, which means that in order for anyone to execute transactions on this network, you need to be in the permission list. And this is one of the reasons we have a functionality on the marketplace platform to register your own blockchain account, because otherwise it would not work. So that part that I didn't show you because it was too much, the part that was starting from the profile page, that was where you were supposed to register one or more accounts, and the accounts are yours. You create the accounts and then you register them, which means that you become permissioned. After that, in order to do anything that involves paying some funds to someone else, of course you need the funds, and then there is an additional step that is procuring the payment tokens, which is a totally different story. But I think that the first part of my answer addresses your doubts.
Yeah, that's correct. That's clear. Thank you. If no one else, I do have another question. So if I understood correctly, the smart contracts, you have them mostly for access and certain types of deliveries, right? I think Krzysztof mentioned in the end that you implement ERC, I think 1135, right, for the periodic access, etc., etc. I just wonder about maybe this is the more in general questions about how do you see the issue of transferring data from a publisher to a consumer, for example, for a complex type of processing. Like imagine that I buy something that I need to run, like for example, train a machine learning model. So it's something that cannot be in a smart contract. So how do you see that? Is that because the consumer is trusted, the smart contract transfer and there is a trace of that and that's where you end? Or do you have another view for this kind of buying for a computationally intensive process?
Yeah, maybe I'm again the one probably, unless Krzysztof has a better idea. But I think that the key point here is that in FAME we have a very precise boundary, a very precise scope, which is how to put the trading parts in contact with each other. This is not a zero trust ecosystem like in a cryptocurrency context. This is a partially decentralized system in which we try to decentralize at most, but there is still the need for traders to retain their own legal responsibility with respect to other traders. This is the reason why in the offering we have the terms and conditions which are expressed as a text. So when you buy an offering, what you are doing, you are basically telling the blockchain that you are accepting some terms and conditions that have been captured, because the full text, or the complete metadata of the offering are captured with a digital signature that is part of the token that you will receive in exchange for this payment. So the legal terms of whatever you're going to do are there, but of course the system cannot enforce the rules. So enforcement is something that it is done in the real world through traditional means like going to court, unfortunately. But at least you have a very clear and a very clear starting point, which is that the terms and conditions have been digitally signed by both parties.
Okay, yeah, that's clear, that boundary. Maybe just one last quick question, because you mentioned in the concept of offering that it's just text part, but I know that in the ID, in the data space format, that can have, for example, ODRL clauses, and think that it's a bit more complex, more rich. And in fact, in Opcas, we work a lot with those, right? Let's say that's where we go, and less, for example, in the identity and governance that you go all the way on that one. So I think something nice complementary there. But for example, could I attach into your smart contract kind of an ODRL offering, like a data offering that it's more complex according to the IDSA guidance?
Yes, technically it is perfectly feasible, because all we have to do is allowing whoever is defining the offering to upload a formal definition of the terms, like with the JSON file, for example, or an XML, depends on the standards that you are using, but that will still become part of the document that is digitally signed. So it is basically a way of having a more standard format for defining the terms and conditions, but the general principle is the same.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. I'm not sure if anyone has a final question before we close the session.
Well, I have to say something, unless there are more questions.
Apparently no more questions, so you can have the closing statement, Ernesto.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you, Louis, to organize this. We'll look forward, of course, to work together. But you have seen a live demo of something that is now open, is now online, is now on the web, and there is a proposal from FAME project to the other, other project of the cluster, but basically to everyone. And this proposal is that you can exploit, you can use, you can federate into the FAME marketplace. You can just try the functionalities. You will have a showcase, of course, a way to showcase your asset, is a way to try out and also to showcase your asset. So we offer this service for free, of course, to anyone who want to experiment. We can benefit. We, of course, will appreciate your feedback, your comment. You have seen that this is quite complicated. It's quite complex, not complicated, but because it solves a lot of challenges, and we solve it in a way. We believe that this is the way to provide to the data European ecosystem a service and an asset that they can be exploited. So this is the offer from FAME to others. We collaborate. You can showcase your asset. You can also explore the asset available. In this way, we can present to a broader audience, to the Commission, to other stakeholders, that we have created a first seed of this ecosystem that hopefully will grow after the project's end. So again, thank you very much to you all. For those who will hear the recording later, consider it. Okay.
Yeah, you're on the record, Ernesto, with that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, especially the FAME team, and we'll have a happy Easter for those that celebrate, or just a break if you only get the break. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.